Use your mind back for what it's designed for. Use it for improving your relationships, improving your health, and finding a way to pay for it. Just do that. And so if you can find a way to chill on the spiritual stuff, I absolutely love non-duality. Studying it changed how I experience all of life from inside to out by showing me what never changes in life, which is consciousness. However, there's a dark side to this, and specifically, there's a dark side to self-inquiry. If you don't know what self-inquiry is, this probably isn't the video for you, but I'll explain what it is. It's just when you ask yourself questions that are meant to evoke something in your experience. They're not meant to necessarily give you an answer. And the reason that there's a dark side to this is that coming from the wrong mindset, which most people will have, this self-inquiry can be extremely destabilizing to the mind. You're using a thought structure which, as far as we can tell, is designed for the survival and well-being of the human creature. And you're taking that thought structure and you're using it to question deeper existential things that it's meant to handle. And by doing this, your body translates those thoughts into feelings. And if you go too far, those feelings can be depression, apathy, panic, confusion, and it can be pretty bad. It can all be optional too, stuff that you didn't have to ever experience. And the difference is where you're coming at the inquiry from. The process of consciousness waking up to itself, or the process of seeing clearly that your psychologically built version of yourself is not true, sort of happens on its own. It has its own flow to it. It can come from curiosity. It can come from the desire to remove suffering, the desire for the truth. Any of these things, if you ask inquiry questions from that genuine place, they have the power to genuinely open you up. And it has a very natural feel to it. However, when the inquiry comes from the place of, I am not enough yet, I don't understand something yet, and because you expect yourself to finally cross a line, to finally understand something, if you're asking self-inquiry questions from that place, you can violently inquire yourself into a very dissociative and depressed state. And I did this many times because I didn't recognize, this is based on the idea that I'm going to get something that I'm actually not going to get. Let me be more specific. For me, there were sort of a couple ideas. One, which was I was going to arrive at an awakening or an enlightenment experience that was going to give me a long-lasting, impermeable sense of bliss. And secondly, that it was going to give me a Google Maps view of what life should look like. Like I literally thought I was going to have some Google Maps type view that said turn left here, turn right there. And that's what I thought awakening was. I don't know why I thought it was that, but that's what my expectation was. Oh, and I thought I would understand everything in the world. I thought I'd understand with my mind what reality actually was. And because none of these things happened, I thought something's wrong. I'm not there yet. I don't understand yet. And so from that frustrated place, I would inquire, who am I? What am I? What is reality? Do I experience time? Like all these inquiry questions that I learned, and then you use them in this way that gets you more and more stuck into this loop of not going anywhere. So if nothing else, the message of this video is, if you're self-inquiring yourself to death and you sense physically that it's hurting you, you can relax. You can just relax. Just relax, dude or dudette. It's okay. Reality is not going anywhere. You can relax. It's fine. And the actual inquiry process is helpful for when you have some emotions, denials, or present mental processes, mental delusions. The self-inquiry can very effectively crack them open And that's what it did for me. For example, the neti process, where you take every part of your experience and you ask, is this me? So is my visual experience me? No. Is my auditory experience me? No. Is my felt experience me? No. Are my thoughts me? Okay, so that's an extremely powerful practice that changed my entire life. But what it does is it does the job of getting rid of the assumption that there is a separate orb of you somewhere located in experience. And once you see that, it's done. You don't need to constantly keep asking yourself that out of a sense of lack. That's what it's helpful for. It's also helpful for the felt shadow work after awakening, where once you have clearly seen yourself as the mystery of every moment rather than as the Henry or the whatever your name is of every moment, you open up in a deeper way. And from that opening, all these emotions come to the surface. Weird, unexpected stuff. Or emotions that were generated by your previously dysfunctional ways of seeing and feeling about the world come to the surface to be treated. And so then you can ask inquiry questions like, if this feeling could say something, what would it say? And then that helps you express the feeling. And so the inquiry is meant to go along with this process as you resonate with it. If you have a keen interest in what your suffering is and why you're suffering, then ask some questions around it. Inquire into it. If you feel foggy and confused, you can inquire into it. If you're having some of this shadow material come up, you can use inquiry to help facilitate its movement. But if there is a sense of lack of I am not there yet that is driving the steering wheel of inquiry, this frustration, that is when you can inquire yourself into hell. That's when you can just inquire yourself. The inquiry, the desperate inquiry came out of this desperate seeking that I had, which was the subtle belief that somehow I wasn't it. I wasn't there yet, that there was something else to understand about reality that was going to fundamentally complete my spiritual journey, that I was going to graduate somehow. And when that went away, I was finally able to stop inquiring myself to death. Now, here's another thing. If the inquiry works and it does produce a deep opening or a dissolving of some dysfunctional perspective that you had, if that happens for you, that on its own can be very destabilizing and confusing. For example, one inquiry that happened for me was the distance or the distinction between inside and outside. So if you look at a thought and then you move your attention to the experience of the sights of the world, when you move your attention between thoughts and the sights of the world, they don't cross over the border between inside and outside. Your thoughts are an inside and the outside world is an outside. It's all within one category that we could call oneness. And that was destabilizing because it changed the way that I experienced my visual perceptions. It was a subtle but very profound change. And so when we think because we're disoriented, we have to keep inquiring and keep nailing it down, which is exactly what I thought. I kept doing the experiment over and over again. I drove myself damn near crazy. And I probably did, honestly. I don't know if I'm crazy now still. I probably am. But that's what I did, and that's just not necessary whatsoever. So if I were to bring it down and boil it down to just a simple guide, I would say, if your desire to inquire into yourself, reality, your emotions, comes from a place of genuine curiosity, of genuine going with the flow of your current process, or of genuine desire for truth or to understand what's happening, that love of and curiosity of reality, then it's probably productive. But if your inquiry is coming from a much more frantic energy of trying to understand something so you can be complete somehow, so that you can finally awaken, you can inquire yourself into depression, and I would be careful. Now, if the inquiry does work and it does produce an effective opening, that destabilization can be a bit disorienting. And so my recommendation there is to actually focus on the typical human stuff. You know, often when we get into spirituality and it's producing deep changes, our first thought is, this is the most important thing in my life right now. And I think that's a valid thing to think. I think it is the most important thing that a person can really investigate. But on the flip side, if there's a destabilizing change that you have, use your mind back for what it's designed for. Use it for improving your relationships, improving your health, and finding a way to pay for it. Just do that. And so if you can find a way to chill on the spiritual stuff a little bit and focus instead on what your mind and body is designed to focus on, that will greatly support you. I might add that weightlifting is a very grounding exercise if you've been launched into space by the self-inquiry process. So be careful of that dark side. Be careful out there. Take care of yourself. It never hurts to take care of yourself. Sleep well, eat some tuna, do what you got to do. That should be my thing. I love sleeping and eating tuna and swimming. That'll get you far in life. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If it helped you at all, please drop a like or a comment. It's hard for me to tell which videos are super impactful or helpful to people. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.